Hello guys, welcome back to another killer concept. Today's killer is called the mass. See, science gives us many amazing things, though sometimes it's all consuming, just like an insatiable hunger. Hunger to take more and more. So without further ado, let's get into their basic info. They are a 4.4 meters per second killer and they're a small height, but that does change into a medium height when their ability fully activates. On top of that, they have a very tiny terror radius, only 20 meters, but again, that will eventually evolve into a 24 meter terror radius. Its main weapon that it has is a slime whip. After all, it's a mass of slime. A big mass of nothingness, so it uses its body as a whip when its ability fully activates though. It has tendrils that comes off of it, and those can be used as its weapons then. Now, I've spoken about its ability so often, let's talk about their ability right now. Slime. Basically, you are a slime, so you are going to leave a slime trail everywhere you go and on everything you touch. Survivors who touch the slime through any method, either by a gen that you've damaged, an object you've touched, or through the small trail that leaves behind you that dissipates after a while, they end up forming a bob. You heard me right? B-O-B. Once Bob has fully formed on the survivor, which takes some time, it screams periodically, revealing the survivor's location. Though, on a positive note, if the survivor doesn't want to have a bob on them, they can be devious and give it to another survivor without their consent. And then they lose their bob. The only downside to this is that you as the killer need to absorb 4 bobs to stabilize your body. So survivors can give them to other people, but that just helps you out more. Less people to hunt down. On top of that, the more bobs that you have on you, the more debuffs you will gain over time. On top of the screams being much more frequent. Once you manage to absorb 4 bobs though, your body stabilizes, so your movement speed moves up to about 4.8 meters per second. Your terror radius increases with every bob that you absorb, hence why it moves from 20 meters to 24 meters. Each bob increases it by a meter. Anyone who has a bob on them, once you've stabilized and become your true form, they become exposed. So this is the part where it gets much more fun passing a bob from survivor to survivor. You don't want to die. Why not let someone else die? And on the downside, if someone has a fully formed bob on them, and you down them in your stabilized form, well, you gain that bob's energy, so your stabilized form lasts just that little bit longer. So be careful, survivors. Now we move on to their perks. Sticky Repair. When a survivor is on a generator, they cannot leave it until their skill check is completed. This perk increases the amount of skill checks. Perk 2. Experiments never stop. Once a gen is completed, all survivors have Compelled. And if you don't know what Compelled is, I'll go over it quickly. It's a new status fact that makes it so you have to complete another task. If you do not complete another task that is assigned to you, you cannot do anything else. Perk 3. Relentless Obsession. Your obsession's aura lasts longer, but will change after the aura has been revealed. So if you have an ability that reveals auras, your obsession will last longer. The only problem is then it switches. Now, a quick tidbit about their lore. Rubbish has become too problematic, so scientists made the mass to absorb it all. Now, the mass had to have some form of sentience to know the difference between rubbish and what wasn't rubbish. The only problem is that its mind grew and it understood that the root cause of all the rubbish in the world, well, that's man. So what better way to get rid of all the rubbish than get rid of the thing that keeps on causing the rubbish? Man. As always, if you want to hear more about this lore, hit the like button and let me know that you're enjoying this killer, and I will do a lore video on him. If you've got anything you would like to change about this killer, don't forget to pop it down in the comments, or even let me know if there's a killer that you'd like me to do yourself. Speaking of which, next week there will be a killer made from one of your guys' comments, so keep an eye out. And on top of that note, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you can be aware of every time I upload a video, whether it's one of these killer concepts, a horror game, or even my visual novel series. But without further ado, the Cerberus, well, he has to consume some more. Ow!